Hello, Zbigniew.
Hi, Andreas. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. This is our first meeting in YouTube channel Men's Life Essential Things. And today I would like to introduce a very special guest to me, a psychotherapist from Poland, Zbigniew Milunski. I'm very happy to meet you and to participate in your men's circle for 2 years and also in the psychotherapist studies for 2 years. And you have been working many years with men. And I would like to ask you today about men. What challenges men faces today, and what are the main essential things in men's life?
Yeah, it's okay. I will try to answer, but it's not so easy to do that in a short time. But I will try, and I think that there are several challenges for us men, and the biggest one, I think, I experienced myself and experience working with groups of men, is challenging the traditional ideal of being a man. And it is a biggest thing to do, because without that, the change is almost impossible. The world is changing around us very fast, very strongly. And we as a man need to meet these changes, because otherwise we go back in time. I mean, we try to solve problems we meet in life with old tools, which are not good. Even I could say that way. Yeah, I see that in a changing world, generally speaking, men have two attitudes towards this change. First one is trying to get on with them, and the second one, it is for those who are not able to deal with the change, to go back to the most traditional approach, which means to violence. So it is a crucial thing how we are meeting difficulty. A few days ago, I read an article about Donald Trump, and there was one of his saying which brought my attention. He said something like that. It's not a quotation in details, but the thought was in what he said. He said that I don't like analyze myself because I do bad things, and I don't like that. And if you have such attitude like Donald Trump, you become a problem for everybody around. Yeah, you could feel it's fine and you can manage, but probably you will generate a lot of problems for other people around you. Yeah? So it is a men's challenge now. Yeah? We have a social rank higher than women, and other human beings which are not I forget the English word, I'm sorry. But with other sexual identities, not only men and women, yeah, So it's on us. The responsibility somehow is on us. It's one thing. The other thing is that very often I see men who are not happy with their own lives. And they are not happy because we are brought up to fulfill tasks. It is a man's demand. Yeah, you are supposed to have a success, to deliver for a family, to have a good job, and things like that. But when we are children, rarely we are asked by anybody, what do we feel? What do we want? How we would like to have a life? In what way? What are our dreams about? And what we dream about, yeah, for us. It's so I met a lot of men in my practice and in my life who didn't have or doesn't have their own lives. They live their life from the place of a victim with the feeling that they have to do things, and they don't have joy in life, satisfaction. Or I met a lot of men who tried to get some satisfaction by building a social position or professional career, to do something, yeah? To become somebody. And then there is usually there is a moment in life when they ask, what is it for? Why I'm doing what I'm doing? And there is no joy, there is no passion in this kind of life. And maybe that's it. If you have any questions, please ask me.
Yes, I'm listening to you, and
it's easier to answer.
Yeah, I'm listening to you and understand that man's life is challenging. You have to be good at work, you have to earn money, bring to the family, you have to take care of wife and children, because like nowadays everybody speaking about good father who is involving with children, spending time with them. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of things which you have to do. But if the things doesn't go well and you are not satisfied, where to find the place to analyze what you mentioned about Donald Trump, where and how to analyze yourself, and where to find the strength to change from victim to I don't know, to warrior, or to the man who lives, who takes everything what he has and lives not from the place of the victim. How is possible to change that?
Yeah, first thing I which is in my mind is that if you want to change your life and you don't know how, go to psychotherapy. Yeah? And I started in the middle of my 40s, because before I was convinced that psychotherapy is not for men. Yeah, I was engaged in spiritual practice and I was very proud of myself. But finally, I realized that it didn't change my problems, my relationship problems, and finding satisfaction in my life, in my personal life. So I decided to study process work, psychology, just for myself at the very beginning. But then I realized it's something for me, and I want doing that way. And very fast on this process, I realized that I don't like myself, and that I am a man, and I generally speaking don't like men. I feel much better in with women. Yeah, they seem to me much more interesting, and I was bored or frightened by other men. And I realized that something is really not okay with me. And I decided to change that. Yeah. I don't know how to find this courage to do that. Yeah, you asked me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tough thing for a man, because the traditional model of being a man demands from us to do things, to deal with things just ourselves, not asking for help. Yeah. It looks funny, but it's a really important signal. Yeah. How many times you saw a man who lost their way driving a car? Now it changed because there is a Google, yeah, and you can use it. But when I was younger, there wasn't a Google, and often, when men lost their way driving a car, they didn't stop to ask for directions. Yeah, they just go, and they were really stubborn in doing that. Yeah, it's okay. We could ask why men are so stupid, but we are not stupid. But we are under a pressure, a huge pressure, which is created by traditional model of being a man, that asking for help means you are not a real man, that you are fake, and it stops a lot of men
It's interesting.
against looking for a support. Yeah. So it is the first thing, yeah, to challenge a traditional model of being a man. Yeah. From my point of view, every man is a man. Doesn't matter what he is doing in his life or not doing. We have millions of versions of being a man. That's fine. Looking for one model and trying to fulfill one model is a trap.
It is actually, when I'm thinking about modern presidents, they all have advisors, and it's normal to have advisor and to take advice from, and then make decision on basis of analysis of advisors from different fields. And it's okay for the president, but for the man, somehow it's
not okay.
It's not okay.
and we have a big problem with talking to each other, with friendship. It happens that we have friends, but in Poland, for example, I see that everywhere, that for many men it's really difficult to be open with friends, not just have a good time with beer or something, yeah, but to really share what I'm dealing in my life, what I struggle with, yeah, to have a deep conversation, yeah, to find out together, yeah, how we could support each other, not just say, oh, it's great, fine, yeah, okay, but really have some interaction, yeah, deeper interaction, yeah.
And is it?
Yeah, and of course it is connected with how we are raised. Yeah, that we are not taught to talk about our feelings. Yeah, there is always this solution that boys don't cry, and it closes the whole discussion about anything. Yeah, and it's stupid. From my point of view, it's stupid. It makes huge devastation for men and for a whole world in which we are living, because it's tough for us. So we went through our young age. Usually, when I work with men, there is a training in not to be sensitive, to be close to sensitivity, not to feel too much because it's painful. It's too painful because no one is with us with our pains and difficulties. So, but we are expected to solve them. So to solve them, we go through the process of cutting off from our sensations, feelings. It means from the body too. So that way we are losing direction in life too. And we start to be dependent on this outside models of being a man, of success and things like that. And we lose contact with our deep knowing who we are, what we really want, what's for us really important, because we are taught it's not important. What's important that you fulfill your tasks. And at the same time, we are expected to not to feel being angry. Anger is one emotion which is accepted for a man in general, if any. So it creates our situation in the world. And from the other side, with the changes in the world, men are made responsible for everything which is evil in the world. We are abusers. We are using violence. We kill during wars and things like that. But in fact, we are brought up to that. Yeah. If you look into TV, almost on every channel, every day, you can see a man killing somebody else. So if a young boy is looking for TV and thinks, what does it mean to be a man? It means kill somebody. And in the first place, kill your own feelings. Kill your own weakness, yeah? So-called. To be a real man, a tough man who is able to deal with challenges of life.
Mm-hmm. And Zbigniew, can you tell a little bit more about your men's circles? What happens in them? How they are constructed?
I can ask you because you participate. How it is to participate in them. They are changing all the time. Mm-hmm. It was a having them is a journey for me. When I started having them in Poland, I started in 2000. So it is more than 22 years ago. It was a time when there was any of them functioning. Yeah? So So I decided to have one myself because I wanted to work with men and to get to know myself better. So I decided to create them. And I learned a lot running workshops for men, yeah. And I usually work that way, that with a group of, sometimes I have just an open workshops, and it's fine. But you know, to go deeper, usually men need longer time and more feeling of safety, especially among men, because usually most men have experienced in their lives being victimized or bullied or some different experiences where they were shamed or punished or under violence, and usually we don't feel safe enough to open, and very often even we don't know how to open because no one show it to us. So usually when I work with a group of men, first the group is open and then it is closed, that the men could spend more time together and build a kind of open, safe space where they can have conflicts to learn how to solve them. Because we are not taught how to solve conflicts. We are expected to fight or to put our power on others. Yeah, but we are not learned how to solve conflicts. For me, solve conflicts means to have a satisfaction solution for all sides of a conflict. Yeah? To learn about oneself and others through conflict situations. So it is the first thing. Another thing is that usually I make some agreements with men together. Yeah, that there is a secrecy. So it means that what participants speak about themselves during a workshop is secret, is private, and we don't share that outside. That it's okay to tell others, for example, relatives, about oneself, my own experiences, if I participate, or if it is necessary to speak about others, but in such a way that they can be recognized. Yeah, it's a really important thing. Without this kind of role, it's really difficult to open and to share, especially under pressure of the traditional demands of men. Yeah, so that's it. And there is a lot of talking, but there is some short presentation I did, but we work with psychological tools. I use process work, psychology, to solve problems in life and to look for new ways of behavior. In general.
Zbigniew, I would like to ask you about one more topic, which was on our men's circle, and it's about ancestors, about relationship with father, with grandfather, and the family line. And you are coming to Vilnius in the end of months, and you will have seminar about ancestors. So can you share about a little bit about the importance of this topic?
Yeah. It's really important, and it has two sides. One side is that very often men have some trauma experiences connected with, especially with fathers. It happens very often. And to deal with that, we need to somehow address these experiences and heal the past to help free from this pattern of repeated violence. Because when we went through this kind of experience or pattern has a tendency to appear in one's life again and again. So it is important for the person who had this experience, but it's important for others with whom this person lives. Yeah? Many men came to my workshops because when they became fathers, they realized that they behave towards their own children the same way like their fathers behaved towards them. And it was the ways they hated when they were children. And those men came to me they were terrified. They told me, what can I do about that? Yeah, I repeat the same horrible thing. When I lose control, I start to shout or even have a tendency to beat my children. Yeah, and I don't want that, but I don't know how to stop that, how to do that with that. And it is one side of the story, which is very important. Yeah. But the other side of the story is that way we could become a positive power for the future. And what was a difficult experience in our lives, sometimes devastating, could be the beginning of a new approach. If we address our difficulty, not to marginalize it, not to ignore it, but in the first place, admit we have a problem, and then to address the problem, we can change our lives, and we can change lives of our children and grandchildren and so on. Okay, it's not easy, of course, but it's a kind of a process. Yeah, I can see I was a better father than my father was, but I wasn't ideal, of course. But I can see that my son is better father than I was. So there is some progress, I would say. Yeah, and I became father when I was 23. And I started working on myself when I was over 40. So somehow I repeated the pattern, my father's pattern. And I know that, yeah. But from the other side, I did what I could. And it is part of the story. Just try, just do something, and you can do what you can. That's it. But the most important thing is to try. Not to ignore, not to say, no, it's too difficult or anything like that. You can find support. Yeah, time changed, and it's possible to find support to change your life and life of your children and grandchildren. And the point is, that somehow our ancestors lives in us, live in us. Yeah? We can say that in every cell we have mother and father. We have a DNA, and one part of this DNA is from our father and the other from our mother. So they are still alive, even on the level of our cells. Yeah, they are everywhere, in our bodies and in our minds too. So changing ourselves, we are changing them. And it's an amazing process, yeah. As long as we have, okay, let's put aside the extreme cases, but with more or less average family, you know, when we successfully are able to deal with difficult experiences from childhood, usually amazingly, our parents change. And before we had a huge problem with them, but after doing this work on past trauma experiences or difficult experiences with them, we find out that they changed and they are better. It's really amazing for many people.
I experienced that also after your workshops.
Yeah. And it means that father in us changed.
Mm-hmm.
Mother in us changed for the better.
Okay, Zbigniew, our time is going to the end, and I have one short question for you, personal question. Are you happy with your life?
Yeah, yes. Generally speaking, yes. But recently I had a tough time. Before I realized that I work too much, I am a man. Yeah, so I deal with this traditional way of being a man too. I really love what I'm doing, but when I do it too much, it's just too much. So it takes away my happiness. But I realized that, and I'm coming back to it. So it's going like that, yeah. But I think awareness and taking difficulties in life as an occasion to grow is one of the most important things.
Okay, thank you very much, Zbigniew, for sharing.
And see you in Vilnius.
Yeah, see you in Vilnius. Yeah, after a few weeks. Yeah. Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.